Quel regard, quelle frotterie! Cette fleur-là m'a fait l'effet d'une balle qui m'arrivait. Le parfum est fort et la fleur est jolie. Et la femme, s'il est vraiment de sorcière, c'en est une certainement. José! Micaëla! Et voici! Quelle joie! C'est votre mère qui m'envoie. Parle-moi de ma mère. Parle-moi de ma mère.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we worked yesterday, and we try not to work too well, but they actually assimilated a lot of things that we have already done. So let's go to the next level. I think there is something that you are doing vocally that's absolutely stunning, and that's beautiful. And so you get the heart of the scene and the color of the scene, and that's perfect. But we want to have more color, more differences, more progression in the scene, more shadows, and you have to pump, and you're working very hard instead of sometimes floating on something and then giving little colors to get that thing rolling. So you are working too much, but not enough in the right direction. One has to remember that this opera, finally, Bizet is finding his voice. Bizet died thinking he was a total failure. Bizet died thinking he was not going to be remembered, that all the work he has done was going to be lost for eternity. And ironically, his Carmen is the opera that has been for years the most performed opera in the world, and certainly one of the 3-4 most beloved operas ever performed. When Brahms heard that Carmen was playing in Vienna, just a few weeks after the death of Bizet, he went to all the 18 performances of it. When Bruno Walter asked Mahler, please, Gustav, give me some lessons about orchestration, he said, I can't teach you anything, but take this score, copy it, and you will know everything you need to know about orchestration. And that was Carmen of Bizet. So that gives you something about the level of musicianship and the respect that this music deserves. You are very often ignoring a lot of the little things that are on the page, and it's totally okay, as we are discussing among musicians so often, to go off the page, but in order to go off the page, you have to understand what's on the page. So the first, let's just take a few passages. I think the very first recit, as you know, is not from Bizet, it's from Guiraud. The first Parle-moi de ma mère, you have a very important progression in the whole little, let's say, recitative before the duet itself, from within the duet. You start piano but agitato. And so we need to find that color. And you say it twice, parle-moi de ma mère, parle-moi de ma mère. It needs to be colored differently both times. Sure. And so play with the text with this. Then all that j'apporte de sa part fidèle messagère, cette lettre. What we must feel, I believe, there is that you're coming with a mission and you're very strong about it. But what's the mission? What's the most important about the mission, in your opinion?
Bring him back.
Bring him back. But there is something that you need to do too.
Marry him.
Well, before you marry him, that's a great girl. Before you marry him, there is something quite enjoyable to do, which is to give him a kiss.
Oh, yeah.
So you know that kiss is coming, maybe. Yeah. And so there is all this incredible attraction. Mm-hmm. It's a little weird because there is something brother-sister between the two of you. But there is that attraction that is one of the engine of the story, and you're afraid of it, but you want it. Mm-hmm. So the whole first passage there is constant silence, approach. I go, no, I don't go. I am shy about it, but I'm going to go for it. Mm-hmm. And that's giving us a lot of shapes that help color the duet and give it a little less of monotony. Huh? Maybe we can start from Parle-moi de ma mère, but try first to sing at that piano agitato, which seems like contradictory, and the fact that you have two Parle-moi de ma mère, that all of a sudden you are getting into something. The other aspect that I think is still missing is the speaking to each other and listening to each other. And this is fundamental in a duet, obviously. Can we go there? If you look at this, you have Stung, but you have a silence.
Yeah.
So something needs to happen in that silence. If that something is intense enough, that silence can be an eternity. But you need to feed it. So we need to understand that tension. Then the rhythm is Parle-moi de ma mère, tita ya pa pa pa. No, parle-moi de ma mère, parle-moi de ma mère. Huh? And that goes very well with the language and the fact that all of a sudden there is a thought brewing and finally being delivered. Hold and release. And that's all what's about.
Okay. Parle-moi de ma mère,
Great. So, it's your mother is not dead yet, okay? You don't know that yet.
Right, okay.
She might say she's a little sick and blah, blah, blah. But so it's agitated, it's piano, it's maybe urging, you have a temper. Definitely, we're going to see that through the opera, and you already killed someone, and maybe you did other very terrible things. But don't be whiny, barking to her, if I might, oh, parle-moi de ma mère, no. Just you're actually quite happy to see her, you know? Yeah. But maybe not. A stage director is going to tell you you are trying to find an excuse not to, have the duet or whatever. Right. But if you understand it literally, I think you're quite happy to see her. It's a relief from what's happening in your life. Huh? So try to be a little happier.
Parle-moi de ma mère. Parle-moi de ma mère. J'apporte sa part fidèle messagère.
Great. That was very convincing, and then that's giving you the energy and the right place to be in a good position, and you capitalize on it, and the ball is still in the air, and then you can catch it and move forward more efficiently. J'apporte de sa part, comma, fidèle messagère, cette lettre. He speaks French very well, Bizet. So he's putting those accents in the right place, and when he's not, then that means so. J'apporte, it's a pick-up and release. Hein? Because right now, j'apporte de sa part fidèle messagère une lettre, and I'm going to show up to Fairway and have 2 oranges and a banana, blah, 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 blah. No, j'apporte de sa part fidèle messagère cette lettre. And maybe you are afraid he's going to talk, or because you have prepared what you're going to say, and so on, and so on, and so on. Huh? So just very simply, I'm not telling you to stop after the sa part, but we need to understand it's colored differently. And j'apporte, pick up and release. Okay? Can you do that once more?
Yeah, sure.
Can you try to give it another color now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay? So, what is that?
Just trying to think of one.
Okay, so let's try to because you have to be ready to do it another way. Huh?
Parle-moi de ma mère. Parle-moi de ma mère. J'apporte de sa part fidèle messagère cette lettre. Une lettre. Et puis un peu d'argent pour ajouter dans votre traitement. Et puis vraiment je n'ose. Et puis encore une autre chose qui va mieux que l'argent. Et qui pourra vous faire sans doute plus de près. C'est autre chose. Quelle lettre parle donc? Oui, je parlerai. Ce que l'on m'a donné, je vous le donnerai. Votre mère avec moi sortez de la chapelle, et c'est alors qu'en m'embrassant, il va m'atteler des paroles à la ville. La route n'est pas longue, une fois à Séville, tu chercheras mon fils, mon José, mon enfant. Tu chercheras mon fils, mon José, mon enfant.
Thank you. That the way you recolored it was great, and it was very clear, and it pays off because we were going into your thought process, and then we connect with you. Right, yeah. So that has to do with where you are in your head. You really sing also with the mental projections. Yeah. Of your soul, of your heart, and what you think the character is going through. So even if you have a conductor that's not going to give you an indication of this, usually the conductor's indications are quite naive anyway, or they are literal. That's why conductors are terrible stage directors, because they just reproduce what you have exactly in the score. Whereas a good stage director is going to understand the connection between the various lines, the words, the situation, the music, if it's good, the orchestration, if it is Jean-Pierre Ponel, for instance, but he's going to take it from a slightly different angle to give it a little more juice. You might find a lot of stage directors who have no ideas at all. You need to do that mental work of preparation. Don't work for them to feed you. And that's going to give you also the opportunity to come up with something that's going to be maybe a little more yours. But that was great. That was great, and that all of a sudden gets more interesting. You still need to work a little more with the text. So, but that we were getting there. I think we can do that work on the text from Votre mère avec moi sortait de la chapelle, et c'est alors qu'en m'embrassant. So the more it's recto tono, like church, you know, the more the text is important. So tension, release, playing with the consonants and the vowels are together. Then she's kind of, and I don't know if it's a joke from Bizet, but she's talking, it's a story in the story, you know? You're talking between quotes, tu vas m'attelle dire. So you have all these grace notes, which he doesn't do very often, and very short. He's making fun, I think, of the old lady. She's trembling a little. So, and he writes, though, leggero espressivo. So I think, you know, I'm not the German director who's going to have you be the old lady, but I think you need to make something of that lightness. Okay. Then you have a lot of silences in there, and you can phrase infinitely more than you are. Okay. So the silences, we need to find a reason for them. Maybe it's you thinking of what she said, maybe it's the mother herself being careful in what she says, or making sure you, Micaëla, understand. But the way you kind of put everything into a kind of half-warm bath water, and that's not good. You want to give that crispness of a thought in process, especially there where you have a story in the story. Okay? Yeah. So can we start maybe just the bar before Votre mère avec moi sortait de la chapelle? Try to concentrate on this piano with a lot of words and still going with the line, okay? Even wait. Okay, great. It's already there. The first Votre mère avec moi sortait de la chapelle, it's still a little stiff. So you can take your time, and then you can move in the phrase to go to the silence. But the silence is not powerful enough yet. Let's try to do that, the three of us, from that bar, Votre mère avec moi. So one.
Okay, from the Votre mère.
Yeah, the bar before. The bar before. Yeah, and one. Qu'en m'embrassant, tu vas m'attelle. Let's do that again, one more time. And one. great. So this is already much better. Now you need to make it yours. But what is happening is that you are a little afraid of the silences, so you go over them. And that's showing that maybe you are not in the right position before the silence. The silence is the moment where we can see the thought shifting to something else. You need to help her to there with this phrasing. So, tu vas, m'a-t-elle dit, t'en aller à la ville. Tum, pa. And here, all of a sudden, I'm in a position, even marking with my horrible voice and making the piano work, that we know there is a thought that's held and we want to hear what's coming next. Can you do, the two of you, just this, votre mère avec moi, sortez de la chapelle. Great, very nice, very nice. Huh? So in both cases, what is important to work on is this connection between the line, the situation, and the text. And that's asking yourself through those amazing scores, which are an excuse to get smarter, searching all those signs that you don't understand actually, as cues, those silence. Why do we have this silence here, and what's the meaning of it? Instead of going over the silence, you say, let me use this to make my point further and to give more justice to the score. But it's beautiful and it's very touching, and we would need 4 hours, but we have only 0 seconds left. Thank you very much. Bravo, guys.